This is the A to Z podcast. I'm Anthony Zanni. I'm here with Alexander DePalo. Episode 8, buddy.
Let's go.
Follow
Follow us on X or Twitter at A to Z New York Sports and an Instagram at
_Zanni_show.
baby. Here we go. And Zanny, finally, our national nightmare is over. They have listened to you and they've sent Zach Wilson to the bench, and ultimately they've sent him packing.
Yeah, his career is over. His career is over. He knew that today when apparently they told him his career was over and he started crying. And people actually feel bad for the guy. He's got $35 million in his bank account. He will be okay. You do not have to feel bad for this man. He was given every chance in the world to succeed, and he did not. He is a terrible, terrible, terrible quarterback, and he doesn't deserve to play in the XFL. He doesn't deserve to play in the CFL. He can't play quarterback. Quite honestly, I don't really think he was very good in college either, but that's a whole different debate.
I mean, you can't argue they gave him every chance. And when they actually didn't want to give him the chance this year, he was thrust into that spot. And you want to argue the offensive line, you want to argue coaching, but at the end of the day, you want to see strides. You want to see where, like, okay, I think this guy is getting it. And most quarterbacks, most successful quarterbacks, you see major strides in year 3. And he just has not shown that. He's shown flashes, but the consistency is not there. He's shown the ability to make the throws, but the ability to read a defense, the ability to move a team down the field, he's shown consistently that he cannot do that.
You can argue that he actually regressed. You can make that argument. And honestly, he cannot read a defense at the line of scrimmage. Like, I don't understand. Are they just not allowed to make checks at the line of scrimmage because of him? Is that what it is? Like, it's very clear we'll be sitting there and I'll be like, oh, 47 is blitzing right now. Like, if I'm calling that from the couch, it's not like I'm the brainiac over here.
Yeah.
And he doesn't see it. He doesn't make the adjustment. And then, a split second later, he's running back 18 yards to take a sack. It's just, it was truly amazing. I can't thank the Lord enough that I will not have to watch that guy on my television ever again. It was an embarrassment. And like I said, I think people need to be held accountable. And I think that the regime is going to be gone after this. I really do. I mean, this was a top-notch defense that did exactly what I said, by the way. I said you're going to lose this team at some point in time. And that's exactly what it looked like with the Jets defense this weekend. It looked like they were just like, no, I'm done. I bailed you out enough. I'm tired of playing. I'm out. And I think that's like, all right, we gotta bench Wilson at this point.
Well, it was exactly like you said. And again, not to always bring my brother. Happy birthday to him. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Tom.
But he texted me when the game was 3-0, and he said, "Is this Jet game over?" And I said, "It might be." And you said exactly what you just saw. The defense feels that. They feel that pressure when the team goes up 3-0, and you have to be perfect or score on the defensive side of the ball. And it was like, boom, their balloon, their energy, anything they had going into that game was over. And Zach Wilson this year, and again, I am an optimistic person, but this year, he is quite literally the worst quarterback in the league. And that's saying something because the Giants are in the position that they are. But his passer rating was 30th in the league. Completion percentage was 32nd in the league. And their third down conversion was 32nd in the league. And it's going to be historically bad if they continue in this particular pace. But I'm interested in what you just said. 2 things. One, you don't think he'll get another job ever again in the league. That's number one. I want to talk about that. And then, is Joe Douglas, is he 1, married to Salah, and is he 2, married? Are they married to Zach in some way? Are they a package deal? Zach goes to the bench, and then is that going to send both of them packing?
I wish I had the answer to that question. I mean, we have speculated for weeks now that Salah wanted to make a change a long time ago, right? And he just had, and he hasn't come out publicly and said that. So at that point, was it Douglas's decision or was it Woody Johnson's decision? And I think that is going to be heavily factored into what happens this offseason. I think Salah's a good guy. I think he's a coach's player, a player's coach. Like, the guys love him. I don't necessarily think he knows what he's doing as a head coach. He doesn't know how to call timeouts, like just simple things that you're supposed to know as a head coach, which most of them don't. But I would just love to see somebody that comes in and, takes control of the team. It's great to be a player's coach. Hackett's not going anywhere. I know people are talking about that. As long as Rodgers is back next season, Hackett's not going anywhere. But somebody has to have accountability for what happened. Like you wasted one of the best defenses in the league again, 2 straight years that they're not going to go anywhere. And there's got to be something said for that, man. Like, and even we're going back now, but there's no reason that Wilson should have been on this team this year. No reason. Nobody wanted him on the team. The players didn't want him on the team. The fans didn't want him on the team. The fact that he was on the team was pathetic. Like it should not have happened. They should have had a backup quarterback backing up Aaron Rodgers, an actual backup quarterback, somebody that has experience in the league. Now, obviously, backup quarterbacks, you're not going to be having an Aaron Rodgers type player on the bench. I get that. But you need to have a quarterback that has been in the game before, could throw the football, and it doesn't become like an Army Navy type game when that quarterback gets hurt. You have to have somebody be, again, Trevor Siemian is nothing special, but he can go out there and he can throw the football. He can make a read on a defense. He can anticipate a route. That's it. It's pro football, man. The game moves a little quick. He's got to be able to, process some things, and he'll be okay with our team. The offense is not great. I understand that. You can say whatever you want about the offensive line. I'm on board with that, right? They're on their 9th tackle. Like it sucks. They've gotten hurt. They've had a lot of turnover. I don't necessarily think it was a strength of theirs coming into the league anyway, coming into the year. But let's look through the first 6 weeks or 7 weeks of the year. They were averaging 3.19 seconds per snap. That's how long Zach Wilson had. Okay. So it's not like he was running for the hills after 1 second. So everybody's making a little too much about the offensive line. Obviously, they're bad. We're all aware that they're bad, right? Giants have a bad offensive line. There's plenty of teams in the league that have a bad offensive line that are still able to score points. You can't go out there and put up 6 points in a game. We went 3 games without a touchdown, dude. Like, how are we going to freaking argue that Wilson was a problem? Like, that was a major, major problem. And you still have people defending Zach Wilson to this day. And they'll probably defend him while he's, playing overseas somewhere or whatever the hell he's doing next.
But the thing for me is that you just said, why are we giving the pass to Hackett at this point in time? Because what Sean Payton is doing with the Broncos is an indictment on Hackett. They started off terrible, but you know what? A real coach turned that ship around, and now that team is 500 and absolutely surging. And when you listen to Courtland Sutton and Russ Wilson, who I threw dirt on in the beginning of the year, saying this guy was disinterested, it's like this team is reborn. They are bought in, and they are a dangerous team now in the AFC because of the way they're playing. Why are we giving Nathaniel Hackett a pass? Why?
I'm not giving him a pass. I think that his offense was built around Rodgers. Rodgers wanted him there, and everything that he was prepared for just got thrown out the window because Zach Wilson's his quarterback. What are you going to do with Zach Wilson? Tell me, how are you going to game plan for Zach Wilson? Like, you could be Bill Belichick, you can be Lombardi. Like, it doesn't matter, dude. You can be Andy freaking Reid. It's not going to work. You have the worst quarterback that you can possibly have. The dude can't read a defense and he can't throw a football. So it's like, all right, yeah, you can blame Hackett if you want, but it's not Hackett's problem. I think you'll start seeing a little more creativity now that there's going to be a quarterback that's not afraid to throw a football behind under center. But I'm not giving Hackett a pass. I just can say that he's going to be back because of Rodgers, and it'll probably be a different season. And now, at the same token, people are going to say, "Well, why are you giving a pass to Hackett but not to Salah?"
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're
that's
poo-pooing
fair.
Salah, and you're just not mentioning Hackett.
Here's my problem:
Mm-hmm.
have to have accountability. The head coach of a team, I don't care what team you are, you have to be accountable. So if you're saying, "Hey, I'm hanging my hat on Zach Wilson," and this doesn't work out, and you waste another season, 2 seasons in a row with a great, great, great defense, you need to be held accountable, and you should not be there anymore. You should not get a third chance. I'm sorry, but that shouldn't happen. This is Hackett's first season. He came here for Rodgers, and he's going to be here for Aaron Rodgers. Salah shouldn't be here. I'm sorry about that, but he should not be here.
I mean, you don't think ever that they would fire Salah, bring in a new head coach, and say, no, your OC is going to be Hackett. There's no way that's going to happen. You've never seen that happen.
It could happen.
No, not.
It absolutely could happen. It could happen. It could
Like, when have you ever seen a GM fire a head coach, but say you gotta keep this coordinator? They
usually,
bring in their own staff.
usually the regime gets different for sure, but it's Aaron Rodgers, so you have to factor into that.
And that's why I don't think that they would fire
Like
Salah.
saying Tom Brady. If Tom Brady wants Josh McDaniels, Tom Brady's going to get Josh McDaniels.
I mean, yes, you're not wrong about that, but that's why I don't think they would fire Salah, because that would put.
They're not boys though. It's not like obviously Rodgers has respect for him, he likes him, but he doesn't have the history that he has with Hackett. So he's not saying that I need this guy to be my coach. No, I'm sure he likes him, and I'm sure he thinks he's a great players coach and stuff of that nature, but there's not a history there. Him and Hackett are boys.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong about that. You're really not wrong about that. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that we have these love affairs with these offensive coordinators, and for some reason it comes back to the Jets with Peyton Manning and Gase and seeing what he did, and then now with Aaron Rodgers and a Hackett. It's bizarre. I don't know. I would be floored if we heard, and it's obviously not going to happen this week because it would have happened already, that Douglas fired Salah and is keeping Hackett on board. I find it hard to believe. That's why I think Hackett's married to Rodgers. Rodgers is married to Douglas, and then therefore ipso facto, they're all married to Salah. It's either going to be a whole package or it's not. That's why I don't think they're going to get fired over the offseason, and they're going to ride Rodgers, Hackett, and Salah and see what happens next year.
Hey, maybe that's the thing, and maybe they do that. I have nothing against Salah. I just I don't like people not being accountable. And the team outside of quarterback and outside of the offensive line, which we discussed already, is insanely undisciplined. Insanely.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
So many stupid penalties. And that is 1000% coaching. It's coaching. You can't say, look at this great team and they don't take penalties and then be like, that's not the coach. We're just undisciplined and it's terrible. It's our coach. I just think we need a change, but we also need an offensive line. So that needs to be a focus going into next year. They're supposedly going to be trading for or trying to trade for Devontae Adams, which, listen, that's awesome.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can actually shore up the wide receivers that can't catch. Like anytime Wilson actually did put a ball on that, they would
19.
Drop it.
I think it was 19 drop passes on the year. And then poor Garrett Wilson. The fact that the amazing stat from yesterday, amongst other stats that were amazing, was the fact that Wilson didn't complete a single ball to a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable. I mean, remarkable. And then poor Garrett Wilson, the one time he gets the ball, he's thinking he's got to score, makes a move fumble. Like,
did you see the interview with Salah? Yeah. He was like, this is a stat that I've never seen before. Can you explain that? And he's like, no, I can't.
Yeah. Like, I know I just remember like he was trying to come up with something, like sugarcoating it back. Well, we were trying to work on our run. Like, I got nothing. Like, you're a quarterback. You throw the ball to receivers.
Yeah. That was terrible, man.
Oh my gosh.
With that being said, too, and again, I'm going off of what a lot of people are saying online because a lot of people are still blaming the offensive line and not blaming Zach Wilson, blaming the receivers, no separation. Okay, when you're down 12-0, right? 15-0, 10-0, whatever the case may be, and everybody knows you can't move the football because you haven't moved the football in 3 or 4 games, they're going to drop people back. They're going to have 3 guys rushing at the line, possibly a 4th. They don't have to blitz anybody.
They don't.
You're literally going to have 7 or 8 guys dropping into coverage. Yeah, it's hard to get a guy open when that's the case. I don't think people understand this. So It's like, you either run the football, right, which they do, and they're running effectively. It's not like Brees isn't running effectively, but the game's already out of reach because, I'm talking about specifically the late 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, whatever the score was at this point in time. I can't remember, 27-6 at that point. Mm-hmm. It was over. It's done. And that's the only way the Jets can get back in the game is by running the ball, which coincidentally kills the clock. So they just can't throw. They don't have a quarterback to fit it in those tight windows, and everybody seems to be covered. But it goes more than that. And again, like I was saying about losing the locker room, it looks like the team doesn't want to play. It looks like the offense doesn't want to play for Zach Wilson. And it quite honestly looked like the defense just had enough.
I'm with you. But the weird part about it to me is why then keep Wilson on the active roster? They're not even making him the backup on Friday. They're making him the third string. They're the third quarterback coming in. Why put him on the active roster? Why not grant him his outright release? He's not playing another down for this team. He can't.
I agree. I mean, he should have been given his pink slip last year. So I
Yep.
don't know, man. I don't know if he's got some good blackmail over Woody Johnson or something. I don't know what is going on over there? I really don't. But yeah, he should be cut. He should be off the team as soon as possible. It wouldn't shock me to see it happen this year, but who knows, bud?
Did I throw dirt on the Buffalo Bills too soon? I know you're going to say
you've been throwing dirt on them since like week one. I feel like, yeah. I mean, dude, you're crazy. They're a great football team. They've played poorly. I mean, listen, you can watch every Eagles game this year and sit there and be like, "Wow, the Eagles aren't very good," because every game they've been like about to lose, and then they'll wind up pulling out a victory here and there. But that's what happens. And the Bills are the type of team that they play down to their competition every single game, or they play up depending on who they're playing. But they're one of those teams. They're a bit of an enigma, and I still don't think that they've truly found their identity, which is weird because this is like year 4 or 5 for them. But their identity changed this year, where they're trying to run the football. They really are. And they're trying for Josh Allen to not run the football. And I saw the stat. It was like when Josh Allen rushes for like, I think it was 16 attempts. When he rushes for 16 or more attempts, they're like 9-1 or something's absurd.
Mhm.
Really has been trying to like get people the ball a little too much, though, to the point where he's been forcing things in there. And I'm not going to sit here and say he's playing well, because he hasn't. He hasn't played well, but a lot of people on that team haven't played well, and even their defense hasn't lived up to the expectations.
No.
But at the end of the day, if you're playing the Bills in January, you're going to be afraid, bud.
I'm with you, and especially if you got to go up to Buffalo. But it's funny, we talk about changing the coaching staff, changing the offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey out, new offensive coordinator comes in, and they have an offensive explosion against a very, very, very good Jet team.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a change of philosophy. Obviously, you can't institute an entire new offensive scheme in a week. But obviously something happened, something clicked. And it could have just been going against a team that was disinterested after they went up 3-0. But it's a formidable defense, and they put up 32 points.
They lit them up. It did look like I'm not taking anything away from the Bills, but it did look like the Jets defense quit after halftime. It really did. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's true.
Bend and don't break. Halftime came. Wilson was still in, and it looked like the Jets defense was just like, "Fuck this." Like,
well, we tweeted it. I said to you, if he comes out and is the starter in the second half, it tells you everything you should know. The organization is not interested in winning, and you've been in those locker rooms before. And the coach comes in, lights them up, and says, so-and-so, you're going in. And that, you don't want to outright be happy about it because your teammate is right there and he's the guy being benched. But internally, mentally, it changes your philosophy, your outtake, your outlook on the game, something. But Salah goes in. I don't know. Obviously, you're not going to know what's said. But obviously, he didn't say, Wilson, you're out.
Right.
Boyle, you're in.
Right.
So they were waiting for that. In those 15 minutes, whatever it is in that locker room, they were like, for God's sakes, man, pull him. And they didn't pull him. And then that was it. They quit in the third quarter. That's really what it came down to.
Yeah, sloppy tackling. Sauce got beat a few times. And could we talk about Sauce? Like, I love Sauce, right? He's a great player. But I see so many people online comparing him.
Pedestal.
They compare him to Darrelle Revis. Like, bro, did you watch Darrelle Revis play? I don't know if these guys are just like 18 that are talking about this or what, but like, I don't think you watched Darrelle Revis play. You didn't see highlights on Darrelle Revis because they didn't.
No one threw him the ball. I know.
And he wasn't running. He wasn't. He was taking the best player off the field.
100% shadowing. He was shadowing that guy.
I mean, he wasn't just strictly playing one side and whatever receivers on that side, but he was taking the Hall of Famers off the field. Calvin Johnson, Chad Johnson, Randy Moss, like the list goes on and on. It was week in and week out. It was somebody new that was like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
Randy Moss twice a year. Like it was insane. It was insane.
I don't think we'll ever see a cornerback like that again. I mean, I feel like we were a little spoiled between him and Dion, but I really don't think we'll ever see another cornerback like Darrelle Revis. It was almost like Darrelle Revis knew the exact route that was going to be run. And I still don't really understand. It was like he had a deal with the receivers. Like, tell me what you're doing. Oh, I'm running a slant here. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like he just knew it.
But the weird part about it is too is Revis was not a big guy. Like you
Not
see
at
some of
all.
these corners now, they're 6'5", can jump out of the building. Revis was like what, 5'11"?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he definitely wasn't as like Sauce is like lanky,
Lanky,
like
very lanky,
he could
very
catch up.
lanky,
But Revis was just
quick, smart.
I want to say far better, but again, I love Sauce. It's a different game now than it was, but it's just so funny that people act like. And again, great cornerback. I'm not taking anything away from Sauce. They're just in two different leagues between Revis and Sauce.
100%, 100%. I mean, one's a obviously surefire Hall of Famer, first ballot, and then you have Sauce. You don't know what he is yet.
Still growing. He's still growing for
He's
sure.
definitely still growing.
And he's damn good. Like I said, not taking anything away from him. You're just comparing. Like I'm just seeing these comparisons to like it's just blowing my mind. Like like I said, I just don't think that these people actually watch. They were either way too young to watch Darrelle Revis play football, or they just don't know a whole lot about football. And again, Sauce is fine. He's great. I'm not knocking him, guys. So don't jump down our throats. I'm just saying that he's got a little ways to go to get his own island.
God, but as a fan now, Jet fan, even the most optimistic fan like myself can finally admit they needed to win this game, divisional game.
Yeah.
I just the playoffs are gone. They're definitely gone. What do you want to see for the rest of the way now?
I mean, it would be nice to try to get healthy. The offensive line has been a train wreck because of, moving pieces and everybody getting hurt here and there. So having some sort of continuity at the offensive line would be nice, but just having a football game to watch on Sunday would be awesome, dude. If I could just sit down and see the offense come on the field and not change the channel, would be so great. Just be like, oh, here comes the offense. Like we might score, like that's not a thought process right now. The offense comes on the field. I know it's going to be 3 and out. Right. And instead of getting angry, I'm going to be like, all right, let me just go to the red zone real quick. I've clicked back in 2 minutes. And boop, the other team has the football. The highlight of my day is watching Thomas Morstead punt. I'm like, is he going to punt? He's going to throw for a first down. Oh, he threw for a first down. Let's go. Like,
the guy's a beast. The guy is a beast.
It's just, again, dude, like we have a phenomenal special teams. We have a phenomenal defense, and then we're not going to make the playoffs. And like that hurts, man. Like, like it's almost impossible to do. Like 2 out of 3 aspects of football, you're killing it. Right. And the only thing I can compare it to, and this is a bad comparison, right? But it was 2010. It was the Chargers, and they were ranked number 1 in offense and number 1 in defense, and they missed the playoffs. Like obviously that's far worse than what the Jets are doing, but I'll never forget that Charger team. It was like, wow, this team's like one of the best teams in football.
Yeah, they were beasting.
Right. Teams was so bad, and that's the Jets. Is they have the best defense in football, one of the best special teams in football, and they were going to miss the playoffs because their offense is just anemic.
Now, first NFL Black Friday game ever. Dolphins are coming to New York. The Jets. Have you looked at the lines, Dan?
I have not.
All right, what do you think?
Oh God. Jets are home, right?
Jets are home.
All right, so they were just 8.5 point dogs in Buffalo. So probably going to be like 6 point dogs.
They are 9.5 point dogs.
Oh, okay. All right.
Third string quarterback technically now.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure.
Oh my gosh. What and then over under, what do you think the over under is?
42.
40. Nice job.
All right.
It's funny you say this because we'll get into what you're doing for Thanksgiving later, but my parents, we didn't figure this out. They are taking me, my brothers, my sisters, all the kids. We're going to the mouth of the monster. What is it? The belly of the monster. Whatever the expression
belly
is.
Of the beast.
Belly of the beast. I can't believe I screwed that up that bad. We are on Black Friday. We're going to that Mall of America thing right next to the Meadowlands.
Yeah. That mall is awesome.
We're staying there all weekend.
Oh, it's great.
Black Friday shopping. The Jets are playing on Friday, and the Giants are playing on Sunday. We're not going to be able to move because of the traffic.
Yeah, that's going to be rough.
It is going to be real rough, but we're looking forward to it. The kids are going to be going crazy.
That'll be
But
a lot.
anyway, moving on to my Giants and Paisan Tommy DeVito. You gotta love it. The guy, it's easy to root for, right? I mean, obviously he got his mouth kicked in against the Cowboys, and he got his mouth kicked in this game. And when the Giants were just giving up sack after sack after sack, and the freaking guy like Rocky kept getting up and throwing the ball down the field, give him all the credit in the world. But I got a text during the game and after the game from my nephew. Shout out to him. And he said they can't even tank right. Why are we winning these games? And that sucks. That sucks as a fan. Him, a huge fan, but I understand where he's coming from. It's the same aspect because you want to enjoy the game as a fan, like you just said about the Jets, but long term them winning means nothing and it actually hurts them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's they go from the second pick in the draft with that sole win, they're up to fourth, maybe fifth, I think it was. And the problem is they look somewhat competent. So I'm sorry, I know you're gonna laugh.
Because they beat the Commanders.
I'm back on 7 wins. I am back on 7 wins.
Here we go. They have 3 wins. How are they getting 4 more wins? What are you talking about?
All right, I know
we're gonna go through the schedule again. Is that really what's happening?
No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. Okay. But this week they're playing the Patriots. I know what your boy Belichick does against these rookie quarterbacks, but they're gonna beat the Patriots.
No, they're not. They're not gonna beat the Patriots. They're not gonna beat the Patriots. It's not gonna happen.
All right. But let's look at that line real quick. That line is a home game. What do you think it is? Oh my God, this over-under is embarrassing. Holy cow.
The over-under is probably 36.
36. Is 33 and a half. 33 and a half.
33? Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know that I've seen a pro game that low before.
33 and a half.
What? It's got to be like -1, -2. Why?
The Giants are +3. Pretty much
3 points at home.
At home.
I mean, they're losing that game. I'm sorry.
Oh, here we go.
They're getting 3 points at home against the freaking Patriots should tell you all you need to know. Everybody is going to take the Giants getting 3 at home, coming off a huge win with the Patriots sucking. You don't think everybody and their moms are going to take the Giants? You know damn what's going to happen. 30 points is going to be 27-6 Patriots.
And Las Vegas is going to be laughing all the way home. Be like, suckers.
Come on. That's crazy.
We suckered you into this one with the Commanders win. Here we go. Here's your little tantalizing line. Take it all you want.
Yeah, take it. Come take this. It's the Patriots, Come on.
Honestly, I don't even know. You would know this better than me. Can you bet over under sacks? Because put that line at 4.5. I take the over all day.
You know what? Like, I don't know a whole lot about DraftKings and FanDuel and all that stuff, but like apparently you can bet on anything now.
Anything. You can.
Player, whatever. Like whatever the player is going to do, you can pick over unders for them and stuff of that nature. So that's not the way I grew up. I didn't grow up like that, but apparently you can do it now. So.
Oh, you can. And the player props are out of control. And I'm not quite sure if you could do it on sacks because that would be wild if you could. But the issue is still the same. And exactly, we said it before we came on air about the Commanders. They traded their best defensive lineman in Chase Young, going to probably the beast of the NFC other than the Eagles who are playing right now. And that can crush a team, where I'm not saying they have a chance, but they literally are thinking they have a chance. They could make the wild card. Now all of a sudden you start making trades and they're like, all right, well, we're done here, so that could crush a locker room. And the Giants did take advantage of it. And at some point we're ripping on coaching, we're ripping on Dayball. Give him some credit here, where this season easily could have gotten away from him and the team. And I'm not saying, listen, one win doesn't change anything, but it's a good win. It is a good win. It's a dominating performance by the defense. And Sam Howell has been the starting quarterback there the whole time. And I don't think there's another quarterback on the horizon for the Commanders, right?
I don't know how he can come back. It's been a terrible year from him. It really has. And at least it's almost worse. It's almost worse than what Wilson has done, because Wilson, we all know he's bad. He shouldn't be out there. Like we've had 3 years of experience dealing with that. Sam Howell, it was like they came into this year, they had some pep in their step, man. Like they were going to challenge for the NFC East, and they've just done anything but. They've looked
Yeah.
bad on offense, they've looked bad on defense, and yeah, they ultimately traded away some key pieces, and that it kills the team, it kills their soul. And I'm not saying I knew the Giants were going to win that game, but like it was just one of those games that you even saw when they were playing them. Like they were doing what they wanted. They imposed their will.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because their will was completely crushed.
Right. I mean, I'm still banging the drum where they need obviously offensive line, but they need skill because they have none on the outside.
Giants need skills so bad. Everybody needs offensive line, right? You win football games with offensive line. You win championships with offensive line, but you need to have skill players. And the Giants just they haven't had a skill player in a long time.
Nuts. It's nuts.
Long time.
I mean, Saquon's the guy, but the receivers
Saquon is amazing. It's
on the outside. On the outside,
right? I'm talking about receivers. They haven't had a legit,
game breaker
receiver since Beckham. Would you say? And even that was pretty
short lived. The
right.
the guy burned white hot and then fizzled.
Hurt.
Got hurt, and that was it. That was it. Definitely frustrating. But so if Harrison's there.
I love Harrison. How can you not? The guy's just he's oh man, he's gonna be so freaking good. And I know he's got a lot to live up to with his being in his father's footsteps.
100%.
He's 100%. Just a good kid. His head is on a straight, man, and he's a hell of a player. So it would be really hard for me to not take him. But at the same point in time, the Giants need a quarterback too, bro.
Yes, obviously, but it's hard not to root for this kid. Tommy DeVito, hometown kid, still living at home. But it's so funny talking about Wilson getting every chance in the world, and probably rightfully so. I'm the clown saying no, but he's probably done in the NFL, but who knows? Tommy DeVito, based on how he performs next week, is very good chance he's going to be the Giants' backup quarterback next year, or at the very least, a team will make him the backup going forward.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that.
He hasn't looked overwhelmed. That's the key. And the guy can take a hit and he keeps coming at you, which is all you can ask, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like he's having fun out there with his opportunity.
Right.
That's kind of all you're expecting or looking for. If the guy goes out there and he's just enjoying himself, the moment's not too big for him, then by all means, man, there should be a spot on the team next year for him.
I agree. I'm all about that. Give the guys a chance, and when they get the chance, he took it and ran, and I'm rooting for him hardcore.
Still not going to be 7 wins this year. You're still
all right, I get it. It could be. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Giants. The Islanders go out west, and I, like a clown, stayed up for almost every single one of those games. And I have never seen an NHL team perform like this in overtime and on the shootouts. Do you remember 7-8 years ago? This team, you were praying for shootouts. Yeah. Praying for the shootout because they were unbeatable.
Yeah, we'd actually win.
With Franz and his backhand of death, and nobody could stop it. He would come out, they would put him out there, and they would go 1-0 in the shootout, and then you're just asking your goalie to make a save or two, right? This team is going 6, 7, 8 rounds and scoring a goal, and it's like, what the hell? And they just do not perform in overtime. 3-on-3 is not their thing. They go out west, and they get a 4 out of a possible 8 points. Everybody on Twitter is calling for Lane's head. And I am of the opinion, if they don't have anybody lined up, you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
And you know where I stand. This team is a joke. This team has been for the past 3 seasons. Coincidentally, I've had season tickets 3 straight seasons. So, it's one of those things, like you dream all your life, like, oh man, I'm going to save up for season tickets. You finally get season tickets. And the only reason I got it is we were, Stanley Cup contenders, like, oh my God, we're going to be a Stanley Cup team. And they're a bad hockey team. They're not good. And the only thing that we ever had going for us over the last 3 seasons was the fact that we had goaltending and defense.
I know.
Explain to me where the defense is, man. Where the hell did that go? My Lord, it's bad. It's really bad.
And that's the bugaboo for me. I mean, talk about coaching. it is virtually the same personnel on the back end, minus plus or minus one, maybe two guys. But with Trotz, you knew what their identity was. You know what the system was. Everybody seemed to know where to go, but they are scrambling back there. And what's worse is their penalty kill. It was historically bad on that West Coast trip, to the point where they were giving up 3 power play goals a game, and they weren't giving up 5-on-5 goals. I'm not talking about a top 5 penalty kill here. I'm talking at key moments in the game, when you're up, when you're tied. Like, you don't have to kill every penalty. It's when you kill them. I need this penalty killed to keep a lead. I need this penalty killed to keep the game tied. And they could not routinely come up with a kill, come up with the save. And I know I'm not trying to poo-poo Sorokin, but at some point, he needs to make the save. You can't tout yourself, and I'm not saying he's touting himself, but the fan base touting himself as one of the best goalies in the league and have a goals against average of 3.5. Like, you can't do that. And obviously you're going to blame the guys in front of you. But at a key moment, at a key point in the game, we need you to make that save, because breakdowns are going to happen.
Sure. I think I agree with everything you said there. I really do. I don't think he's been the best that he's been.
Oh, he's been way off. Way off.
He has been way off. I just don't feel like the team has been playing the way that they played last year in front of him. They gave up a lot of shots last year. Let's not pretend that they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Shots were, I feel like their game plan last year was to stay in the lanes, right? So they would get hit a lot with the shots. They'd block a lot of the shots, or the shots that made it to the net. There would still be a lot of shots that made it, but they would be a lot softer. This year, they're nowhere to be seen. It just seems like the shots keep coming from every angle. And I agree with you. Sorokin's got to step up and make a save. But at the end of the day, we're not scoring either, man. So it's not like, it's one of those situations, like you said, like he feels like he's got to make every save, because if he doesn't, we're going to lose.
I mean, I disagree with that. The fact that we're not scoring. When you look at the West Coast, I mean, other than Edmonton, they put up 3 goals, 4 goals. Like, they're scoring. They are crap in the overtime. They played Vancouver as one of the hottest team in the league. They blew a 2-goal lead. That cannot happen. They played Calgary, who is not abysmal, but they're in a bad slide right now. They blew a multiple goal lead in that game, and they squeaked out 2 points in overtime. And then Seattle, they were up in that game. The thing that I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater and fire Lane without a suitable replacement. If Laviolette was out there, if Quinville didn't have his huge baggage, I would say bring him in. You need a suitable backup. You can't flip a coin and take a gamble on another guy. You took a gamble on Lane without a surefire upgrade in the coaching position. I'm not ready to get rid of him. That equity he built up last year. And when you look at this year, they've blown lead after lead. They're up in these games, multiple goal leads, blown leads in the third. And I think it's easier to learn how to play with the lead, how to protect a lead, rather than score goals and playing from behind and catching up at all times. Because at times that's what they were doing when you look back under Weight, when it was just loosey goosey and they were scoring 4 goals a game. But they're getting ahead, and their bread and butter under Trotz was clamping it down. You got up 2 goals, the game was freaking over. And they just got to get back to that, because they're getting their goals. Their power play is shockingly coming around, which it was so bad last year. And their penalty kill, which was their bread and butter, has gone to an historically bad place, a dark place. And that's why I'm just not ready to throw Lane under the bus just yet. I'm close. This week, the Flyers twice and the Senators. The Senators are bad. The Flyers are in 3rd place in the Metro right now, I think. You got to take 4 of 6. You have to. Because the problem is the Metro is not that good. The Rangers are freaking running away with it, and we'll get to them in a second. But you got to keep pace, and the Flyers are ahead of you right now. You got to take at least 3 of those 4 points.
So just FYI,
yes,
there's only 3 teams in the league with less goals for than the Islanders. Only 3. So not sure how much.
Stack guy Alex over here.
Not sure you're watching, but we are not scoring. I beg to differ. We put up 6 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals. I didn't see those games out. All I know is we got 44 goals on the year. There's only 3 teams that are worse than that.
Wait, who are they? Give it to me.
You got the Washington Capitals at 39, which they beat us.
Yep, yep.
You
Killed
got
us.
Chicago Blackhawks at 40, and you got the San Jose Sharks, which is the worst team in hockey, at 26.
Are those stats updated? Are you looking at today's stats?
They stats updated right now.
All right. I mean, I'm going by the eye test, Zan. You know I'm an eye test guy.
I'm sorry to put stats on you.
This is garbage. You don't bring the stats. I bring the stats. I can maneuver the conversation where I need to maneuver it.
Disagree.
I disagree. Okay. Oh my god. And then the Rangers, man, they are, I mean, white hot. I mean, they're losing right now, but again, they're down. Shesterkin's back, but they're down Hedel, and that poor kid, that poor guy. I think he has 5 concussions in the NHL. His career is actually in jeopardy. I mean, that's sad. The kid is 25, I think 26 years old, and wondering if his NHL career is over, and you've seen it before.
Yeah.
And then Fox, who's finally, I think, traveling with the team, he's going to be back within 2.5 weeks or so. But the team is, I think, 9-1, something like that in their last 10 games. Just an absolute.
4 straight games that they won. They are, we've spoke about this before.
I know.
Hockey. I mean, I still think the Devils are the better team, but as of right now, they're not proving that. Boston Bruins are being
also amazing prediction by me beginning of the year. I'm like, that team is gonna collapse. They lost their top 2 centers. I don't even think they're gonna make the playoffs. And they're the best team in the league. Okay, nice job.
Here, yeah, they're playing really well. I mean, listen, it's hockey. It's a long season, but Rangers are a lot of fun to watch. They really are.
They are. They
which is sad to say as an Islander fan, but it's a much different game. It's much more exciting. Islanders is a more of a boring hockey game.
I'm with you. What are you doing for Turkey Day?
Our house. We'll have people at our house.
Nice. How many people?
We have kind of small family, so it's probably like 10. Nothing crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Boys excited?
They're excited. Yeah.
Nice. I started coaching Nick in basketball, my son, and it is absolute chaos. I tell you something, I can't imagine what you're doing with baseball and t-ball, but the way this league is run is fascinating to me. It's just like they want us to scrimmage, and it's pretty much like other teams are running football drills. They're just tuck and run. I'm like, I'm yelling at them to dribble, and the coach is like, just go. I'm like, what are we teaching them?
Right.
What are we teaching them?
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, I don't know how we do that, buddy. I can't coach that age. I really couldn't.
Yeah, it's been wild. But anyway, I love you. Say hello to your family. Happy Thanksgiving. And we're going to be watching for Black Friday and on Sunday. And let's go Islanders. We need 5 points, okay?
Hey, you got it, man.
All right, take care.
Going.